Governor Fubara says a judicial panel of inquiry would be set up to probe the finances of the state prior to his assuming office. Governor Fubara gave the hint at the swearing-in of Dagogo Iboroma as the new Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice of the state at the Government House. The governor noted that the new Attorney General is coming at the critical time the state is involved in many legal matters. He also expressed concerns over the inability of both warring groups to find a peaceful way out of the political crisis.
Dagogo Iboroma, you're going to be the brand new Attorney General of our dear state. Why are we bringing you at this very critical time? We have a lot of issues around us. As it is today, in the local palace, they said the jungle has matured. We will be setting a panel of inquiry to investigate the affair of governance. I wish that were, because even if it's a mistake, by the special grace of God, I'm here today.
Yes. Not a mistake.
God doesn't make mistakes.
All right, let's delve into the rivers of political crisis coming from the South State. I'm joined by Special Advisor to the Rivers State Governor on Political Affairs and Strategy, Darlington Ojo. Also joining me on the program this evening from Benin as lawyer and former member of the Edo State House of Assembly, Washington Osifo. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the program. It's perhaps the toughest stance we've seen Governor Fubara take since the crisis began last year. Mr. Ojo, the governor recently said that the Rivers State Assembly isn't existent and that he's decided to take the bulls by the horn. Precisely, what do you think happened? How do things deteriorate this bad after the many efforts to reconcile the warring parties in the past?
Thank you for having me to make some clarifications on the issues in Rivers State. Well, for us, we are one family until the 30th of October, when a group of persons, as members of Rivers State House of Assembly, as it then was, came together to say or make an attempt to impeach the governor of Rivers State. And every well-meaning Rivers persons have asked, including the governor has asked, what is my offense that will lead to impeachment? Because if you listen to them then, they made a statement and said gross mismanagement of the fund of Rivers State. And the government lifespan was about 5 to 6 months as at that time. And the question was, when did he start spending the resources of Rivers State that will lead to gross mismanagement of the resources? And that metamorphosed to the stage where we are. In the course of it, the former members of Rivers State House of Assembly decided to defect from the People's Democratic Party to All Progressive Congress, which for them, they think it is within their right. But I was very sure and convinced that they didn't consider the Section 1091G. They didn't take it into consideration as at the time they were taking that decision. So for us here, we are peaceful. Governance is on in high progress. And by the special grace of God, we are celebrating our 1 year in office. Maybe in the course of this program, I will line up programs that we are doing to show you that there is efficiency and prudent management of the resources of Rivers State. And that's why we are not distracted. So you can refer to it as warring factions. Yes, at the time everybody was worried. Remember, the Rivers State, we had 32 assembly members and we won the 32 seats. And at the time, 27 of them decided to defect to All Progressive Congress. And of course, the Constitution is very clear, like I said, the day they defected was the day they lost their seat. And there are laws that are proving that, and there are issues or cases that are pointing to it. So for us, that is where we are at the moment. That what we have now as original members of River State House of Assembly are 3 members. Because out of 32, we lost 1 by death, 1 resigned, and that's 30, and 27 defected. So we have
we'll talk about the numbers in a jiffy, you know, how 3 suddenly has become greater than 25 or whatever the precise number is on the other side. But we heard the governor say yesterday that the jungle has matured, and we all understand what that means in the local parlance. He did say he was hoping the disagreement would be resolved, but that it's obvious that isn't going to happen, and that the other party is bent on sabotaging his administration. It did sound like a declaration of war, especially when you follow up with the concerns of the lawmakers on the other side that the governor might demolish the current River State House of Assembly complex.
Well, the truth of the matter is that, politicians are very ready to grab from every statement made by the governor and blow it out of proportion. The governor never meant to declare war on his people. The governor is a God-fearing governor, is a loving governor, and is a very patient governor. I refer to him as the most abused governor in the history of River State, and he has been patient to take that. If you picked the one he said about the jungle has matured, you should also heard, maybe you heard him when he talked about that local government chairmen will rise up, abuse him. Individuals will rise up because of what they believe that they are above the law, committing treasonable offense. By the time you say you will invade government house, that's treasonable. So for us, the governor did not declare war. Let me tell you what happened. What happened is that we are one family, like I said, and the governor believed that, look, we can disagree. Even in a family, people can disagree, husband and wife can disagree. And that there will come a time where people will realize their mistake and come to a table and they, put up the differences, make decisions, and everybody will fall back to play. But it seems that it's not working. By the day people are taking advantage, you will see a situation about the former House of Assembly members that will be making laws in their committee of friends meeting, and they will say they are overriding the government.
I hear you, Mr. Orji, but I'm sure you are also aware where the concern is coming from. The way and manner the River State House of Assembly was demolished, in the first phase of the political crisis. The governor,
no, if you allow me.
Just a minute, Mr. Orji. The governor now visited the complex and was still talking about some renovation work. Some other political stakeholders have been there saying they have done their own independent tests and that there is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with the structure of the current building as it is.
Okay, if you watch on the, I think 29th or 30th of October, when the State Assembly complex was burnt down, I can challenge you to fly to Port Harcourt. You will see for yourself that it is not the entire building that was raised down. It was the area that was affected by fire, and of course, it was no longer habitable. And the governor decided, after carrying out some integrity tests on the building, and by the advice of the expatriates, they advised that that section of the building should be brought down, and the governor did that. And I can tell you, any moment from now, the construction will be, flagged up. The designs are on, and all of that. Again, talking about the assembly quarters.
Allow me to
make this point, please.
Okay.
Allow me to make this point, please.
Go ahead.
You talked about the elders that went to River State House of Assembly quarters and said they have conducted integrity tests and that the House of Assembly quarters is in order. My brother, we are not in a banana republic. The governor is responsible and is in charge of all government properties. In fact, the oath he took is to protect the lives and properties of our people. And the governor at never, in any point, I've never made a statement that he's going to demolish that assembly quarters. And if the need arises, and maybe a section or the other is not comfortable or conducive, to house the members of River State Assembly as it then was, then he has a right. The governor is not limited to any part of the state. He has the right to visit anywhere he's visiting.
But allow me to
cannot claim.
To bring the other guest into this conversation. I hear your explanation clearly, but trust me, there's also the political interpretation to this development out there, which I'm sure you are not ignorant of. But I'm also joined now by lawyer and former member of the Edo State House of Assembly, Honorable Washington Osifo. Honorable Osifo, thank you for joining us on the program this evening. There's this conversation about how previous governors have fared in situations of this nature and whether or not the state legislature really has been able to muster some form of independence. You and your colleagues were reportedly denied inauguration by the state governor in Edo State. How powerful do you think the governor is in this crisis?
Well, my brother, the governor is very, very powerful. Yes, the governor is very powerful. Let us just say it the way it is. The governor of Rivers State, as it is today.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, the governor of Rivers State, Fubara, I do not envy him at all. I think the governor learned from the best, master. I recall very vividly when in one of the programs, the then governor, who is now the minister for FCT, was commissioning, he did mention and he apologized to us, the governor of Edo State, to ensure that we did not find out that all that Godwin did, the reason why he said Godwin was ungrateful to him was because Godwin did not thank you in a proper manner, which he thought as a co-governor he ought to. Therefore, he betrayed him. And he really knows some of the ways he helped him. He did mention that he helped him to ensure that he stabilized. That was the language he used. He helped Godwin Obaseki to stabilize the state by helping the 14 by ensuring that the 14 House of Assembly members never found their way into the assembly. Now, you see, when we do things, we must be very careful, because today is yours, tomorrow belongs to another. When you see what is happening in Rivers State today, you will also say that there is always somebody that is teaching the man that is working, that is doing whatever they are doing in Rivers State today, the best possible that can be done. For instance, when it happened, he took away the sitting of the legislators from the known abode at Ring Road in Edo State, which is the legislative home. He took them away and he took them to government house. If you see what is happening in Rivers State today, that is exactly what
Mr. Osifo, it sounds like you're saying that the Honorable Minister, Wike, is reaping the seed he sowed in Edo State. Is that what you're saying precisely?
There cannot be better words than that. When I see what is happening in Rivers State, it is similar in all forms in terms of the reaction. It is similar. The only difference is that whereas the members of Edo State House of Assembly were locked away, they were never given opportunity to be inaugurated, talk less of vacating the seat, which the law frowned at. But if you look at what is happening in Rivers State, they on their own ported to APC. They on their own ported to APC. So, but the reaction from the governor is similar in all forms, because the governor is not trying to use the position of the executive to ensure that he keeps away permanently those legislators who won election, who won, but by their own volition, left the PDP and became members of APC.
Hold that thought, Mr. Osifo.
For democracy to succeed, and survive in Nigeria, we must know that whatever is done in line with the Constitution, that is the only way this country can survive. But if you bring in political solutions to solve legal problems, you will be creating more problems in this. I am tired and I am sick of governors behaving like that. Today, Governor Fubara doing the worst to Governor Wike, who at a point just yesterday was also saying that he was the Alpha and Omega and perhaps the superstar. None of them has done, whether Governor Wike, whether Governor Obaseki, whether Governor Fubara, or any of their likes anywhere in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, sitting as governor or as a subnational of any of the subnational government, who arrogate excess powers to themselves at the detriment of democracy, is not doing democracy any good. When we think that the man who helped Godwin Obaseki to stay away from to keep the 14 legislators and did manifest injustice to Edo State as today and derail the progress of Edo State, we're not able to interrogate the actions of the governor, such that democracy and development will be seen.
I hear you, Mr. Osifo. Allow me to butt in, because it is really hard to.
Who himself has come out to apologize.
Honorable Osifo, if you can hear me, it's really hard to substantiate your claim that Mr. Wike helped the governor to derail your inauguration.
No, listen.
But hold that thought, Mr. Osifo. Let us go on a short break, and then when we return, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us, everyone. Special Advisor to the Rivers State Governor on Political Affairs and Strategy, Darlington Orji, joins me on the program this evening. I'm also joined by lawyer and former lawmaker at the Edo State House of Assembly, Washington Osifo. Gentlemen, thank you for staying the course on the program. We have just about 5 more minutes to go, so let's make our response as concise as possible. I'll begin with you, Mr. Orji. Governor Fubara has now vowed to probe his predecessor's administration. But how does that work, saying that he was Governor Wike's accountant general?
Well, let me tell you, that is the beauty of democracy. And nothing new is happening in Rivers State. The former governor of Rivers State, Right Honorable Chibike Rotimi Amechi, set up a panel of inquiry after his tenure. The former governor and minister of Federal Capital Territory, Chief Barrister Ezenwanye Wike, set up a panel of inquiry. So that is nothing new. And the governor have also said that he served as an accountant general. But of course, you should remember and agree with me that the chief accounting officer of the state is the governor. And the accountant general is directed. If I were the people, I will be patient and see how things will unfold. There is no point trying to find out what actually the details of what happened. Now, let me tell you, remember that when this governor came on board, the internally generated revenue he met on board is 12 billion. And within 1 year in office, we are now in 27 billion, which is about 15 billion difference. So what happened?
I wanted you to react.
What are the?
I wanted you to react to concerns. Hold on, because I need you to answer the exact questions I'm asking. I wanted you to react to concerns that probing an administration under which you were accountant general, is tantamount to being a judge in your own case. You don't agree with that?
No, I don't agree. In fact, that is why the Rivers people and Nigerians will applaud him. A man that is saying that he wants to ask questions. Panel of inquiry is to ask questions on what is not clear before the government. Remember that Obasanjo, when he was the president of Nigeria, he set up a panel and subjected himself to it. I'm sure the kind of governor we have, peace-loving, very patient and loyal to the state. If there is need for him to answer anything, he will make himself available. It's not that everything we are blowing out of proportion. And meanwhile, allow me to clear a point where somebody said, my friend in the other side said that the governor is almost acting worse than his predecessor. Let me tell you, people left the assembly on their own volition, that they are not interested to be members of Rivers State House of Assembly again. According to the constitution, that was not written by me and you. We inherited it, and it's still standing. 109 subsection 1G. My brother there can clear me on that. It's not ambiguous for any person to understand. So they have left, and the remaining people must, of course, do the legislative business of the day. Take, for instance, excuse me, just 1 minute. Take, for instance, if by the time we went to tribunal and almost 18 or 20 or 30 seats we are not, the remaining people won't do the legislative business.
Mr. Orji, that's your time, so I can hear from the other guests as well. That's your time. However, I've also spoken with lawyers who have said that that provision of the law you have quoted, doesn't implement itself. It requires the Speaker of the House to declare the seats vacant, which did not happen.
The Speaker of the House have declared, the former Speaker, Right Honorable Sineh,
that's exactly the point I was making. But Mr. Governor only did say that he didn't consider this individual's existence a few days ago. Let me bring Mr. Osifo into this conversation. We're wrapping up now. The presidency is saying that President Tinubu won't take sides in this matter. You have mentioned earlier that you can't have a political solution to what seems an illegal issue. Do you agree with the body language of the presidency as we speak?
Try to do is to play the role of a father of a nation who sees things going wrong, and he attempted to bring a political solution. But it was even made worse. Parties to the solutions suggested didn't see the need to go with the advice of Mr. President. So when I hear Mr. President through his spokesperson saying that he is not supporting anyone and he's not siding anyone, and you'll be living in fool's paradise if you think that he's supporting you, I think that is the best position to take. When you talk to two adults who think that they own life and they are larger than life, then you allow them to go. But one thing I must say is that democracy belongs to Nigerians and democracy belongs to all of us, irrespective of it. These persons or officers of the states who themselves are either governors or ministers in Abuja, must learn that in everything there's always an exit date. And therefore, if democracy is what we suffer, then if any of the offices they are holding, it is not worth it, because it is sick and is surprised that those who should live above board in terms of character and character content are the ones creating problems for us in this country. I want to tell you that what is happening in Rivers State today will be derailing definitely the progress and development of that state. Just like what was done here 4 years ago when they denied us access to the House of Assembly, that took away our rights to interrogate the executive and put them in proper check, and at the end of the day, they were lost unto themselves, and they did a lot to draw a Doba in terms of development and cohesion, so that we can take our proper place in the Committee of States as far as the Federal Republic of Nigeria is concerned. Governance is not fun; it is life. And anyone who plays with the issues of governance is toiling with life. Right. And we should stop it. As a matter of fact, because the property of state, of governance, is the property of state. It's not their inheritances. Therefore,
all right. Mr. Osifo, I'm afraid that's how much time that we can take. Mr. Orji, if you can, in just a minute, react to the position of the presidency. Is that something the Rivers State government agrees with?
Well, for us, like everybody knows, there is nothing wrong when two people are quarreling and their father stepped in. The position of the president at the time was to make sure that there is peace in the land. But again, you cannot force, you can take a horse to the water, you can't force horse to drink water. Remember that the decision taken that time was a political decision. It was not constitutional. And if there is any letter in that word that is in conflict with the Constitution, of course, you know that at all times the Constitution will prevail. So we still await when the former members of the Assembly confront the court or approach the court, because the court of competent jurisdiction have stopped them from parading themselves as Speaker and members of the House until a superior court set it aside. Then that is the position of Rivers State House of Assembly. We have authentic members and the Speaker, Right Honorable Loco Jumbo Victor, as it stands today.
That's our time. Again, that court order, we understand, is an interim order that usually lasts for just about 7 days. And I'm sure you're also aware about the Supreme Court's caution on lower courts given...
No problem, but that's the position of the law.
I'll be sure that we're going to have enough time subsequently to delve more into that matter. But we have to go now. Special Advisor to the Governor on Political Affairs and Strategy, Darlington Orji, thank you so much for talking to us on the program this evening.